Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at an advanced Dungeons & Dragons product, The Rogues Gallery. This was out in 1980. It was written by Brian Bloom with Dave Cook and Gene Wells. And what this is a listing of a lot of different characters you can use in your D&D game. Non-player characters, or even if you want to make them player characters, there's nothing stopping you. There's the table of contents. We get a nice look at a big cross-section of characters here. A compendium of non-player characters for advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Includes hundreds of randomly generated non-player characters and personalities for advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Here's a nice picture of a paladin on a warhorse. That looks like it was by Darlene. And again, 1980 from TSR. The Rogues Gallery, how to use it. So here's a little bit about what it is. And then we have listing all the shorthand for all the various races, the gender, the alignment, armor class, etc., the appearance, and then the number that would appear. A big, scary looking, looks like a roper or stow roper attacking this female fighter. And here we start out under A for assassins. There we have a list of all these assassins. I have used this book extensively. I still bring it out when we're playing, especially for an urban setting. I will pull this guy out, and it's a quick and easy way to find a quick listing for a monster, not a monster, for an NPC encounter. In this case, there's the assassins, and here are the bards. And bards are fairly rare in any campaign, so there's only 20 listed here. Next we get clerics. Lots of clerics. You get a full 2-page spread. I do want to say I did take a look at this about 3 years ago on my channel, but I'm taking a look at some of these older supplements again simply because I think the equipment, the sound, and the picture are better than they were back then, and I think I'm a better presenter than when I was then. I just want to take a little deeper dive on all of these. So having finished with the clerics, we go to druids, and again, druids are a little more rare, so there are only 50 of them. 50 druids at your fingertips. This was an incredibly useful supplement. I use this. I still take a look at it. A mind flayer fighting some type of druid. Looks like he's got some kind of insect plague on him, or creeping doom. Fighters, the backbone of any good D&D campaign, are the fighters. You got to get them in there as the tanks. There you go. 2-page spread for them. Illusionists. Again, fairly rare, so we only get the 1 page with the fine artwork. I love the artwork from this one. Again, that early 80s artwork for D&D was just wonderful. Magic users. I use this all the time for an NPC magic user. It's just so much easier than writing up one on my own. I just simply copy down stats off of this one and then go from there. So just a quick and easy way to do it, which is how this was intended. Monks, we only get 1 page for monks because monks, again, are pretty rare. We have a monk manhandling this poor gentleman. Then we have multi-class characters. So if you want different combination classes of humanoids, this would be where you'd go. So we have, for instance, fighter thief, magic user fighter, all the way down, various clerics, and the mixes and the race of the creature. And then we get more multi-class characters. We have a ton of these. I just think this is really useful. And I'm not sure if that's a Boule or not. It looks like the paladin got the better of him, whatever it was. Paladins, there we are. Nice listings of paladins, again, rarer in campaigns. So there's only 1 page of them. Rangers. Gotta love rangers. Rangers are very common at my table. This is a ranger squaring off against an owlbear. Rangers are very common at my table. They're a favorite class for a lot of my players. So almost every one of my games will have a ranger of some kind in it. Thieves. Gotta love thieves. I love playing a thief. Thieves can be so much fun. And then sages. Sages are mentioned in detail in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but here's an actual breakout of sages. And then on the companion page, we get 0 level characters. So you can have some 0 level characters and maybe what they do. Caravans. The composition of a caravan can be very easy to make up using these charts. City guards, city watch, and border patrols also. You get a nice breakdown here. This is a very useful supplement. Pilgrims, people going on some type of religious journey. Bandits and buccaneers. I love bandits and buccaneers. I use bandits in my games all the time at the lower levels. The buccaneers themselves. And then we get some monsters, but these are monsters of good alignments. They're called out a little bit more here. So Coatul, Shedu, and a Chiron. I thought that was pretty nice because it's got all the spells brought out. Here, if you use psionics, the Coatul's got all the psionics in his spells. Psionic powers for the Shedu. Liches. I've used these liches straight out of this book. Very handy. Back in the 80s, I had sometimes had access to a Xerox. I remember Xeroxing this page and using the Lich 1, I believe, directly from this page. And then dungeon parties. So you have an entire group of dungeon crawlers, of NPCs. An NPC group, by the way, if you ever throw it at your player characters, that can be a lot of fun. So here's continuing on the dungeon parties, all kinds of them. We're up to 10B. And then personalities. This was the thing that really, this was worth the $6 this guy cost back in the day. Personalities, these are actual player characters from the original campaigns. And it was really exciting for me as a new player to see what other people who developed the game were actually playing. So here we have Ararat, played by Tim Jordini. Bigby, played by Gary Gygax. Not even going to try that name. Gene Wells played him. Fletcher Dandaria by Bob Volber. These are all characters that were active in the earliest days of D&D and in Gygax's Greyhawk campaign. Iraq's cousin, played by Ernie Gygax. Grimslade, played by Harold Johnson. Gormadoc by Greg Fleming. Lanolin, I just like that name, played by Lawrence Schick. Lanolin. Why even bother coming up with a name? Just read a bottle. Lyservin the Dark, played by Al Hammock. Luther, played by Helen Cook. Mordekainen, played by Gary Gygax. Phoebus, played by Jeff Leeson. And all the stuff that Phoebus has. Phoebus is a lizard man. He was, I think he was reincarnated and returned in the body of a lizard man and was allowed to continue to play. Rigby by Gary Gygax. Robilar by Rob Kuntz. Serten by Ernie Gygax. Talbot by David Cook. Tensor by Ernie Gygax. These are all their stats, the magic items they had, and everything that they were willing to give to the public at the time. And Valerius, played by Errol Otis. And then we get the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game family, which is the DMG Player's Handbook Monster Manual, World of Greyhawk Folio, Dungeon Master Screen, player non-player character sheets, the Rogues Gallery, and then the various modules that were out at the time. And then on the back we get a nice look, and we can see what's inside this little tome. I love this. I consider this one of the gems of my collection because it has a lot of the early information on the original players and player characters from Greyhawk. This is available on DriveThruRPG. I'll put a link below for it. But I recommend it. I like I said, I consider this one of the jewels of my collection. I always keep this on my shelf ready to hand, and I still use it quite a bit. So that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Go ahead and like if you would, and subscribe to the channel. And if you could take a look at the Patreon, help me out there, that'd be great. That's all I've got time for, so thank you, and I'll see you next time on page 121.